Hello, this is Matt Jones, and this is Matt Webb.
Hello.
And we're here in Berg in London, and we are a design company here. We do products and software and where they meet up. And we were part of the interaction design jury for the C77 Awards this year. We're going to announce the students and the professional prizes. Part of our jury were us. And the other part of it were people who are far cleverer and nicer, including Dan Hill, who's one of the strategic designers at Citra in Finland and also writes the blog cityofsound.com. Julia Whitney, who's creative director for digital media at the BBC, and Sara Öhrvall, who's the head of R&D at Bonnier Corporation, a large publishing company. So our process was we all got together for a day and went through everything that was entered, both student and professional. Where we could experience the products themselves, we tried to do that. Where we couldn't, we had to rely on video submissions and other submissions that were part of the C77 process. As a lot of things in the interaction design category were installations, we had to experience those through those kinds of remote pieces of mediated experience, as it were. So without further ado, we're just going to crack into first of all, the student category. So first of all, in the student category, we want to announce a notable, and that notable is Feel Me by Marco Trevero of the Copenhagen Institute of Interaction Design, CIID. Here's the description. Communicating with someone special is not necessarily about content going back and forth. It is often about feeling the presence of that person. Feel Me now creates sweet, playful connections with the other side through a non-verbal interactive channel. Feel Me is a simple and new way to enrich digital communications.
So paired objects are a really common trope, but this was beautifully poised and just real enough that I could see using it every day. I think seeing people's fingers typing in a mirror, on the touchscreen was really nice graphic thinking. So we really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interaction design cliche 101, but Marco's entry was like a fresh take on that, and that's why we enjoyed it so much and gave it a notable. So to move on to our first runner-up is Channel of Mindfulness by Yufang Wang, again of CIID, Copenhagen Institute of Interaction Design. And here's the description. Bringing mindfulness, brackets, paying attention to in a particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally, close brackets, in our day-to-day lives is key to spiritual growth. Channel of Mindfulness creates a new way to help inexperienced practitioners to discover and integrate mindfulness into their everyday life.
So Dan had some comments about this. He said it was a well put together concept. He particularly liked the use of materials and smart to use sound to evoke a sense of place. Great is slightly arch. I think personally that was what I enjoyed about it. It was a really nice combination of apps, accessories, physical play, and psychology that were interlocking kind of perfectly for a really whimsical product concept. Part of me wishes the student had gone slightly deeper into meditation, and I think that's what makes it so great, is that it just left me wishing they'd gone further.
So our next runner-up in the student category is called Learn Physics, but it's kind of pronounced Learn Physics because in the Learn, AR is in capital letters. That should give you a clue to the description.
This is in the...
This is in student runner-up. So, yeah. Learn Physics is an educational construction game for learning electricity amongst young students. It offers by simulation the possibility to create and manipulate electrical circuits thanks to an immersive, emerging, and accessible technology, which is augmented reality.
Learn Physics was beautifully realized and addressed a really meaningful issue. Could definitely see how it would help significantly with learning physics. It seemed like a really smart move, said Julia, to move so many objects to augmented reality to reduce wasted materials and the cost of manufacture. So we enjoyed that.
Yep. So the next runner-up in the student category is Haptic Intelligentsia by Jung Han Lee of the Design Academy Eindhoven. And apologies for mispronouncing the name there, if I have. Description. Haptic Intelligentsia is a human 3D printer that allows the user to tactilely, I think, perceive the virtual object and to directly transfer into the physical. The user can freely move the extruding gun, which is attached to a haptic interface.
So let me read what Jack had to say about this. This project is a complete story, and the sense of being a sense of manually rapid forming something against force feedback was very interesting. The products, cylinders of glue, could have gone a bit further for me to understand how I might encounter a response to the interaction. But the author identifies that reactions to interacting with the force feedback were very positive. And that's going to be really interesting in the future. The communication of the project was robust, and the author talked well about the work.
And our final runner-up in the student category is Fade Away by Matt Richardson of ITP at New York University, the Interactive Telecommunications Program. And here's the description. Fade Away is an interactive installation that performs a Twitter search for the term fade away and uses an ultraviolet laser diode to write these tweets on a phosphorescent surface.
So this work was very strong, and it's technically very ambitious. I think it did very well. We thought that its purpose was novelty, and it did that very well. But also the tweeting against the hashtag showing up demonstrates a lot of potential, and we look forward to seeing where this is going to go.
So at this point, we should be announcing the winner for the student category, but after a lot of deliberation and a lot of argument, we couldn't find a clear winner. So we have no winner in the student category in interaction design this year. We didn't feel as a group, as a jury, that although there were notable pieces to both the concepts and executions that we saw, there wasn't any one project that was rounded enough to really be a winner there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So we will move on to the professional category. And in professional, our first notable is the 9/11 Names Arrangement Software and 9/11 Memorial Guide by Local Projects for the 9/11 Memorial and Museum in New York. Here's the description. The 9/11 Names Arrangement Software is a custom application for the 9/11 Memorial that assisted in determining the arrangement of almost 3,000 names of the people killed in the attacks of September 11th, 2001 and February 26th, 1993. They're described in bronze parapets surrounding the twin memorial pools.
I want to pass on what Dan said about this, because I think he summed up our complex thoughts around the project. So Dan said, approach as delicate as subject matters, impossibly loaded emotional space with sensitivity and intelligence. Sometimes assessing interaction design can become simply a technical matter. And here we see that content, direction, and strategy is the most important thing. Local projects handle this carefully and smartly, using some of the intrinsic capabilities of the medium to address an age-old design challenge, the memorial, in a new way.
Our next notable is Smart Actions by the CXD UI UX team at Motorola for Motorola. The description, quite a minimal one, is Smart Actions is a contextually aware app that learns the user's needs and automates those daily tasks.
So there's always a tension whether our smart devices should be tools or agents. And the current tendency is to reduce complexity by reducing flexibility. So this is a good approach to using agents and a learning interface to retain flexibility, and that should be applauded.
It should be, we couldn't play with it. So, and I've come across a lot of these ambitions before in my time. So we left it as a notable. Our next notable is Lucid Dreams, the Sephora Sensorium by Department of the Fourth Dimension for Sephora and Firmenich. The description is as follows. The Sephora Sensorium is the world's first interactive scent museum, a pop-up experience in the heart of New York City's meatpacking district. The final Lucid Dreams experience explores the physical act of smelling, don't know if there's an other than a physical active smelling. With an interactive mix of cinema, design, and technology that creates images based on how you sniff fragrance.
So one, it's about smell, which is never considered enough. They've broken away from the big screen. And two, this piece joins directly the act of smelling with the representation of engagement, which is a great insight and also context dependent, given what they're looking at. Three, it's just beautiful.
And our next notable in the professional category is Think, an exploration into making the world by SY Partners, Mirada, Ralph Applebaum Associates Inc., and George P. Johnson for Think, an exploration into making the world work better. Here's the description. A cornerstone of IBM's centennial year celebration, Think was a multimedia exhibition that brought to life the many ways in which people are making the world work better through innovation.
So Dan, who works in this area, enjoyed the extraordinary effort and scale from IBM, and he said it was good to see such a well-executed and ambitious presentation of everyday data introduced into the heart of the physical experience of the city. We're beginning to understand, he continued, that these simple feedback loops presenting real-time data on urban performance are not enough in terms of actual mainstream behavior change, which is the goal of this work. So it's a great start, and that's what this work is about.
And to move on to the runner-up in the professional category of the interaction designs of Core 77 Awards this year. And the runner-up is Lego Life of George by the Lego New Business Group for Lego Systems. Here's the description. The world's first interactive game combining real Lego bricks with apps for the iPhone, iPod Touch and iPad. Follow George around the world as he challenges the user to a series of fun building tasks.
We all thought it was good to see Lego as a fiduciary marker, very smart and lots of potential. So really enjoyed it. It's a neat product output, and I think it's we just wanted to see what would happen in 3D as well, so 2D.
Yeah, I think just that it's one of the most. Again, we were looking at almost like total football in this category. We wanted to see that people have worked through the interactions, not just digitally, physically, in terms of copywriting, but the whole experience of it, the whole experience design. And the Life of George was a commercial product which did this in a very innovative and inventive way. And without further ado, well, we've had quite a lot of ado so far, but no more ado, so no further ado. We'll go to the winner of the professional category this year, and the winner is Teagueduino by Teague from Seattle in the USA. Teagueduino is an open source hardware platform that makes building interactive things from experiments and games to classroom projects and prototypes easier. Teagueduino makes digital electronics more accessible by offering solderless assembly, fail-proof coding, and a community of resources for support.
So this is an outstanding combination of a clever reduction of the complexity of electronics, plus software that kind of mimics the togetherness of learning programming together. And I love that you can download projects from the website. It was the most systemic offer we saw, in that it created a genuinely adaptive system that could offer infinite flexibility and extension, genuinely powerful, so accessible, and just a fully realized experience. We were really impressed.
It was a completely unanimous verdict from everybody in the jury for that one. So well done everybody at Teague involved in that project, really cracking stuff. That concludes our announcements for the interaction design category, both student and professional. We hope you've enjoyed our slightly ham-fisted reading out of it. It was a great day, and a lot of the credit goes to our brilliant jury, Julia Whitney, Dan Hill, and Sara Öhrvall, who really cracked through and made some tough decisions all the way through with our support. So bye everybody on the internet. It's been really nice speaking to you. Have a nice cup of tea. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.